Welcome to podcast 43. Yes, 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 maybe, but yes.
Okay.
We're recording now. We had a mistake, but we're all good. Chris is back.
I'm back. Thank you for that ad break. No. Okay.
So you were talking about Harold and Kumar Christmas, and you, if you want to briefly give a recap over that, because we didn't record it, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where it stopped. Okay. So this week, the worst thing that I watched easily was a very Harold and Kumar Christmas. I grew up, I don't know, enjoying the Harold and Kumar, or at least Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. And I watched Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, the sequel, which I didn't really like much, other than the part where they start smoking weed with George Bush.
Nice.
But I saw this one because it is Christmas, and I figured, oh, why not? I can finish off this franchise of wonderful films. And it wasn't very good. It wasn't funny. It didn't. I think that what lacked for me was how they don't focus enough on Harold and Kumar, and then there are other characters that you don't really care about. And Neil Patrick Harris is the best part of the movie, and he's barely in the movie.
Oh, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, he's really funny. Danny Trejo's in it, which is a delight, of course. We love Trejo.
We're big
here.
Trejo fans at podcast 43. Hopefully we can get an interview with him one day.
God, I hope.
That would be awesome. He seems like such a loving guy.
Man, he does. Yeah. I mean, I want to watch that. Well, we got to watch. I'm trying to watch that documentary about him before the end of the year for sure. But yeah,
it does look good.
Then I watched Kajillionaire, which I don't really want to elaborate on too much because I'll be talking about it in a few weeks. But it is the best thing that I've seen this year.
Nice. I'm super excited to watch that one.
So good. So good. Yeah, but I don't want to spoil it. All I want to say is that if you love Miranda July weirdness, then this is up there. It's just really weird, subversive, fun. Then I watched Fitzcarraldo, the Werner Herzog movie, which is just has a crazy story behind it, and a documentary called Under the Burden of Dreams that I need to see, which is just kind of about the arduous process that the undertaking of making this movie, and how Werner Herzog refused to use special effects, and they actually got a massive steamboat to over a mountain. And you get Klaus Kinski just doing his thing. It's kind of inspirational in a lot of ways. Believed to achieve, if Fitzcarraldo can build an opera house and get a boat over a mountain, then you can do anything. And I'm just gonna finish it off with Sorry We Missed You, a depressing film from Ken Loach about the failure.
Really familiar.
It was it came out, well, it's I don't know, it's one of those movies that that people count as a 2019 movie or a 2020 movie. But it's a British movie. And it's about I, Daniel Blake.
I know of it. I still haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's the same director, Ken Loach, but a lot of similar themes. I mean, I, Daniel Blake, I think is, it's one of my favorite films of the 2010s, and it's kind of a lot of similar stuff. I think I, Daniel Blake's a stronger movie than Sorry We Missed You, but if you like one, you'll like the other. It's just a real gut punch, just this family trying to work hard, making ends meet during the gig economy type stuff, just having no break, and just the government and other things just kind of getting in their way of success, or not having the government help them through this tough time. It's just really sad, but really good.
Nice.
So,
Um,
yeah.
my week was pretty tame. I'm not gonna lie. For those who might not know, I took a little mini vacation. And me and my girlfriend wanted to watch Prisoner of Azkaban. And
Yeah.
growing up, it was always my favorite of the Harry Potter films. I found myself watching it this time, and had I hadn't realized how good the visual storytelling is. There's a lot of foreshadowing and just very good, like, spacing of the characters within the frame and everything. Stuff like
Mhm.
that I paid more attention to this time and found myself appreciating more than when I was a kid, which is natural. It's always scary revisiting stuff that you really liked as a kid because it might not hold up, but I didn't really have that issue with this one. And then
That's how I feel about LMFAO. Yeah.
it's scary, but it's worth the ride to revisit. I agree. um and speaking of things that revisiting them is when you get older, I found myself wanting to rewatch the Hunger Games movies for some reason. And
Brave
so,
soul.
yeah, I rewatched the first and second, and I'm working through the third movie right now. We'll finish it at some point. Um, yeah, I still think they're entertaining. I don't think they're like amazing movies, but they're
Yeah.
entertaining. I think what the first one can do with the budget that it has, I think it's kind of cool. Because I don't think it had like a crazy budget, but it still kind of sells the world to you.
Mhm.
They do have their issues, like I think like the main characters of the first one, Katniss and Peeta, don't are like not really that developed at all.
Oh
Like
yeah, that
if at
was.
any. So they're not perfect, but and they're entertaining for what they are, I think. That was pretty much it. Like I said, it was a pretty slim week for me.
Well, like, so with the Hunger Games, like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think it's like something that's fascinating about it is that it's kind of like a symbolic in the sense of like how much cultural capital like YA used to have
Mm-hmm.
over everything
Yeah.
in like that one period in 2010s. I guess I guess it was like, post Harry Potter
Mm-hmm.
where it was like people were just trying to fill a
Fill that
void.
void, yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like kind of flash and a bang and then just kind of like because nobody talks about them anymore really.
Yeah, there's I think we're still seeing a little bit of like with that movie shit, man. We've talked about it a lot. I just don't remember what it's called, but the movie with Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland that's coming out that just got the trailer. I think that's kind of like the last of that era. But for some reason it's like still coming out even though that the whole like YA takeover has been long and gone.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how quickly, like with what you said, it being a bang, it was really interesting to see how it kind of came and went. Because like for me, I was interested in the Hunger Games as a kid in middle school from like the first one to Mockingjay Part One, and then I just like flat out never saw Part Two. So that was kind of like why I wanted to rewatch them to actually see the ending of it. But I mean, I think the interest had kind of died out by the time Mockingjay had come out, and then like the Divergent series couldn't even. I mean, their
Nah.
last movie was just put on TV. So,
Wait, did it come out or was it or I don't know if they even ever made it. I think they were gonna
um,
put it on TV and I think
mm,
Shailene Woodley was like, no, you're not gonna I'm not gonna do that. Like
mm,
so
that's so I didn't even know that. I just always assumed that it just got put out on TV at some point.
I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, I'm not one to tell you. I'm not an authority on
Well, you should be, Chris. That's your fault, dude. You've done the podcast a disfavor at this point, man.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of us has to be the divergent person. You know what I mean?
Divergent
Yeah.
expert. That would be a really cool podcast. It's like it's almost like
Divergecast.
Divergecast. Well, no, it's like I'm the Divergent expert, you're the Hunger Games expert, and we get into arguments every week.
And then we finally get Pentatonics to do our theme song.
Wait, they don't already?
Oh yeah, for listeners that might not know, we're having a ton of legal trouble with the Pentatonics at the moment about rights over who owns the podcast theme song. So we'll get that ironed out for you guys. We know how much you love it and how good the reception has been towards it.
Yeah, so it's just, it's just lawyers and shit.
Yeah, it's like capitalist BS, man, but
yeah,
we'll get it.
Well, I mean, there was one more thing that I watched. Actually, it was a French film for class that I had to get in before my final. It's a kind of a lesser known film called Entre, Nous, which it also goes by the name Coup de Fondre, Coup de Foudre, from 1983, directed by Diane Curry, Kurys, Currys, I think. And it's kind of like a nostalgia, kind of like a period piece about these two women that meet each other under French occupation, and then they kind of have like they meet back up in the 50s after the war and stuff, and they kind of have and then they kind of have like a friendship, and the friendship turns into something more, and it's kind of like an LGBT like love story, kind of one of the first of its kind, and it was good. It's kind of interesting to see that at least something from the 80s kind of start like that, because it's very tame and conservative compared to like stuff now, because like it's a lot harder to make even in other cultures, not just America. But I was reminded a lot of a movie that I watched this year called Desert Hearts from 1986 by Donna Deutsch, which is kind of a like another kind of like early lesbian love story film. And also Carol by Todd Haynes, which is something that I've been wanting to revisit. I think it's on Netflix now, but
I've always wanted to see that one.
Well, you should watch it now because it's a kind of a Christmas movie. So.
Okay, yeah. I don't feel like I'm lacking on watching my Christmas movies. I went all in for Halloween, watched a ton of horror movies. Christmas deserves the same type of attention.
That's the thing, man. Is just that like I don't know. There's just so few. I feel like a lot of the Christmas movies are kind of tired at this point. Because I have them a little list, and it's kind of small, but I mean, like, why the hell do I have the Santa Claus on here? That's I don't know. I'm just like trying to think of like good Christmas movies. Like, I don't know, Eyes Wide Shut comes to mind. That's a pretty good one. Gremlins.
Oh, dude, I would really like to watch Gremlins. That sounds fun.
Yeah, I don't know, we could do Gremlins.
Yeah. Did we announce what our Christmas movie is on the podcast? Me, you, and the guys are watching.
Oh no, I don't think we've announced it on here, but
it's not really a Christmas movie. I don't think there's any Christmassy aspects to it, but our Christmas movie this year is Cruising. Us and the boys are gonna watch Cruising on Christmas night.
Yeah, it's gonna be be lovely. A Pacino,
masterpiece,
a seminal Pacino work. He directed that. Was that I want to say it was like. Oh,
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. The only director.
William Friedkin.
Oh, that was a Friedkin film. Okay.
I think this will be my first Friedkin film. I don't think I've.
You've never seen the Exorcist?
No, unfortunately not. It's always been on my list. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well, are you ready to get into news?
yes. Yeah, sure.
Or
Let's go.
yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna go through it relatively quickly, or attempt to, I suppose. The Oscars are being the 2021 Oscars are being produced by Steven Soderbergh. I'm assuming this is because of how he's handled producing and filmmaking during the coronavirus. So I'm assuming they're probably going to squeeze as many like tips and tricks as they can out of him in terms of that. The Ready or Not team, they're planning on doing a high school horror reunion, so that should be interesting. Me and you saw Ready or Not together, right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Neil Blomkamp has made a movie during the whole coronavirus scare.
How the
It's
fuck did he make Chappie 2 under quarantine?
well, he got Hugh Jackman. Once you get Hugh Jackman, you can get anyone else on. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's gonna be like a supernatural horror movie. There's not too much known about it at the moment, other than he's made it and it's apparently done. This one is awesome. Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes will play brothers in a new upcoming. I think they said it was a drama miniseries, but I'm all for seeing Wesley Snipes and Kevin Hart as brothers. That
Yeah,
sounds
I mean
interesting.
that does sound. I mean, there's.
Yeah,
I
it
guess
will
I
be a
guess there isn't.
drama.
Guess there isn't much of an age gap between the two. I always think Kevin Hart's younger than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nick Cage is doing I think a little. It says series, but I heard it was only like 5 episodes.
The swear words one.
Yeah, the swear words thing. I just thought
Yeah.
I'd throw that in there. There's a True Blood reboot, apparently. I have not watched it, but I just thought, HBO is doing that. Chris Pratt is starring and producing in a new comedy called The Black Belt. It'll be like a karate thing, I suppose. Daisy Ridley is set to star in a movie called Young Woman and the Sea, and it's about her swimming across the sea or something.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I'm glad to hear that she's getting roles, because I heard for a while there she was having trouble finding roles after Star Wars. Ben Affleck will be in George Clooney's new movie, The Tender Bar. So that's interesting. Bob Odenkirk he had a new movie called Nobody come out, and the trailer just released, and it's a different role for Bob Odenkirk, it looks like. Did you see the trailer for this one?
Yeah, I mean, I rarely ever watch trailers, but I heard about it and I saw the poster and I said that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I had to check it out.
I do want to see it.
Bob Wick.
That it is what everyone is comparing it to.
Yeah.
Chris Evans is joining the star-studded cast of Adam McKay's Don't Look Up. We talked about that one briefly a while back ago. It's got like Timothy Chalamet, Jonah Hill, Jennifer Lawrence, and a few other people. I'm going to briefly talk about the Disney investor call later, but I just wanted to go ahead and mention this now. Noah Hawley is doing an Alien show for FX, so it doesn't look like Disney is giving up on that franchise. It looks like they're going to continue with it on the small screen. There's no real word on Ridley Scott's next Alien film following Covenant. That wasn't talked about, I guess, in the investor call. Jamie Bell and Margaret Qualley are doing a movie called Fred and Ginger. It's a biopic about dancers, I believe. I don't know too much about that. And I hope I pronounce his name right. I did it wrong the last time I mentioned it. And Yala Abdul Mateen the second is joining Michael Bay's new film, The Ambulance. That one keeps popping up here and there every once
Wait,
in a while.
what's this new Bay film, The Ambulance? Is it like
I've heard of there's only been casting stuff that's come out about it. Let me see if I can find because I keep hearing about it, but I don't know anything necessarily about it. Okay, here it is.
yeah, it's the Jake. Yeah, you talked
Yeah,
about it last week. The Jake Gyllenhaal.
yeah. Chris Fidak wrote the script. It's based on a Danish film, Ambulancen. The screenplay has been paddling through the murk of development for years before Bay decided he wanted to take it. This is from Empire, just a site where I got it from. The story has yet to be officially confirmed. It apparently has the feel of a 90s action thriller, though also heavier on character than some of them. Following two brothers, Gyllenhaal would play the elder pair who steal an ambulance. Trouble is, there's already a female paramedic and a patient in critical condition aboard.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I'll give.
Um.
I'm a Bay defender at
Yeah.
sometimes.
Apparently, Dylan O'Brien and Isa Gonzalez are mentioned to be.
Eliza.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
Liza, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, they have a EIZA. They're apparently in talks for the two other roles that we just mentioned. Yeah. Yeah. I think I might stand on the other side of Bay, but I've always tried to keep an open mind about things. So I mean, it sounds interesting.
I don't think he's like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's like a great director, but I think he has the capacity to make fun movies. I mean, like, like I think Armageddon's fun in all the schlocky ways. It's so stupid, but like, and then like The Rock is good and stuff. So like, I hate the Transformers movies. They're so bad. Like, what? Oh my God. I think the last night, this marks about a year from when I watched The Last Night with a marathon with some friends about around this time. And I remember we watched like 4 movies that day and we capped the night off with The Last Night. And I was just so fatigued from just like watching a screen the whole day. And it made me hate it even probably more than usual. Just like Optimus Prime delivering like the worst exposition ever. And like, I don't know, it's just so boring, uninteresting, stupid.
Yeah, I saw, what was it? I didn't see it. I started it. What was that movie? He did a movie for Netflix, Six Underground.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Something about the way it was shot and just
wait, but it has Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yeah, fan favorite. I mean, I'm a huge fan favorite of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
How sarcastic could I sound while saying that?
That didn't even put you over. That didn't even, make
that didn't even win me over.
Wow.
I know.
Must have been a really bad movie.
I only watched the beginning. It's not super fair of me to judge it, but I wasn't super crazy about it. But
that movie's like long as fuck. It's like 2.5 hours long or something. Like that was why I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I guess Netflix is willing to let him have a final cut.
Yeah.
Ana de Armas has joined the cast of The Gray Man. I feel like we may have talked about that one a while back ago, but I don't remember. 25 films have just been added to the U.S. National Film Registry. These include some to mention: Grease, Shrek, The Dark Knight, The Hurt Locker, The Blues Brothers, Clockwork Orange,
and Melvin Van Peebles, Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, which is so cool that they added Sweet Sweetback.
Yeah, it was a good interesting list. And then I kind of saved this for last. I contemplated even adding it, but I feel like it is pretty big news, although me and you might not be super interested in it. But I briefly talked about the Disney investor call, and it kind of seems like they released the floodgates on everything that they were working on. So it's interesting to have a peek, although I don't know how excited I am about most of it. My main, the main thing that kind of not really frustrated me, but I was a little disappointed with is I thought now that Marvel was done with its whole, they had their whole cinematic universe. I was hoping they'd kind of branch off and do kind of like one-offs and let things finally be their own thing instead of being all so interconnected. I was proved wrong with the investor call, and Marvel is doubling down on their films and also shows, and all of them are closely interconnected. Those were their words. They said that they were very closely interconnected. So if you really want to be in the loop, you have to own a Disney Plus subscription, which I think is kind of, I don't quite know how to feel about it. I don't think it's completely fair, but it's not a new thing. Companies do that.
No, yeah, it's how it works.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. I think kind of sucks. And it's like a shit ton of content to get through just to understand everything. But Alfred Molina, hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He played Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2 back in 2004, I think.
Yeah.
He has joined the cast of the ever-growing Spider-Man 3, whatever it'll be called, following Far From Home. So that movie is continuing to go along. It seems like they're going to try and do a Spider-Verse type thing. So
Yeah.
that's that. Rachel McAdams. Oh yeah, what's up?
I was just gonna say, yeah, I saw all the shit that Disney announced, and it just made me really sad. Like,
yeah, no, I mean
it just like,
I mean, I was gonna touch on this, but I think you kind of gave me a very good segue into it. Is Disney is pretty much doing the same as HBO Max.
well, no, they're doing I mean, I will give them credit where it's due, where they're at least drawing the line on some. They're not like being like, okay, open the floodgates. All this stuff is going to be on Disney Plus. We're just going to forego theaters entirely.
Yeah. But it's like only a select few though. Like most of them, like I think at that point, like I just don't understand even why.
And I say that also because I will give you props. I don't know if you have it written down for the news, but about Christopher Nolan speaking out against Warner Brothers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, and then James Gunn also criticized Denis Villeneuve. I hope I'm saying his name right, but
Denis Villeneuve, his reasoning was a little bit more like, all right, you're kind of a joke, like, because he was like, oh, this will be so bad for the franchise, for the Dune franchise. It's like, what kind of filmmaker thinks like that? Like, like at least Christopher Nolan was like being like, okay, this is really bad for like union workers and like, all these people that rely on theaters for their job. It's like you're screwing over all these like working class people. And like, yeah, just Villeneuve. Yeah. God, what an overrated director. But yeah, just, yeah, very frustrating on top of just like the amount of like lack of originality. It's just like Buzz Lightyear movie, fucking 10 Star Wars movies. Yay. Oh boy.
They seem to be leaning more. I didn't really want to. I only have a few Star Wars things in there, but they seem to be leaning more into TV shows.
Oh yeah, 10 Star Wars shows, I mean.
Yeah, sorry. Which I don't know how to feel about either. I feel like they're Marvelizing it, and it like fucking sucks too. Because then you're just gonna get fucking tired. I mean, I'm already tired of it. Like, give shit a break. Like, let things breathe. But people whine either way, if they get a ton of stuff or get nothing, so it's weird. I didn't mean to get too cynical, but
no, dude, are you kidding me? Yeah. You get to be cynical at least once, I guess. I mean, considering that's my routine.
But
it's is there anything else because I mean I think that I can talk about a lot of other points that I want to make, but I want you to like finish with what you wanted to say, at least with like other news beforehand.
Yeah, I'll just rattle these off really quick. These are all like, I put it all in one thing because they're all like Disney related. Disney is, like I said, they are releasing, not everything, but they are releasing some stuff on Disney Plus on the same day as it gets released in theater. And then it seems like they're going to keep continuing their stupid Premier Access thing. They are still claiming that was a success, which I would like to really know if that is or not.
But they're not doing it for Soul, right? I think Soul's just gonna.
I think Soul's just gonna be released on its own. I don't think that they're gonna. If you guys are really interested in everything that they announced, just there's multiple like there's tons of links that have like compiled them all together. If you just type in Disney Investor Call, Sister Act 3 was confirmed with Whoopi Goldberg returning. Catherine Newton, she was the lead in Freaky, has been attached to Ant-Man 3. There's a litany of Star Wars shows coming out along with Marvel shows. There's some interesting names attached to the Star Wars shows, like the Russian doll creator. Patty Jenkins is directing the next theatrical Star Wars movie called Rogue Squadron. Indiana Jones 5 has been slated to come out in 2022 with James Mangold at the helm of it. Hayden Christensen is returning as Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan show. And then lastly, Fantastic Four is finally getting its Marvel debut with John Watts at the helm. And he is the man behind all the recent Spider-Man films. But I'll let you continue, because I would really like to hear the rest of what you were gonna say about.
I was just gonna say that it's disheartening because it's like all the media just continuing to just the conglomeration of media. Disney owns a bunch of things, and so does Warner Brothers, and so does Universal, and it's like, it's split among these 6 companies, and they just live off of franchises and stuff. And I mean, like, I don't know if that's because just kind of like the direction that our culture's gone or something, but everybody, I just feel like it's just like, I don't know, just infantilism at this point. Like, it's like all these products to consume and not like actually things that will give you proper insight or be like kind of I don't know. It's just disheartening to see the way that they treat their films and stuff. And like, I mean, like, I know that like, stuff like French New Wave or something isn't like going to be like, oh, as popular as this stuff, or just a lot of different film movements. But you have to at least look at like the commercial films that were being put out, you know, 10, 20 years ago, and at least see the difference and the drop off in quality that we've really gotten to because of stuff like this, because of companies like Disney afraid to not really take any risks financially, because why would they? But I don't know, it's just infantilism in media just really rubs me the wrong way. And then just seeing people talk about it on Twitter, that like, oh, why are you criticizing superhero films? Because like, they're kind of like our, folklore or folk tradition. And that's a really bad point, because we're folklore and folk traditions of other cultures backed by a capitalist machine that just like keep making things. Consumerism. Like, no, it was like passed down from families and from cultures, because it's just stories that you like Disney doesn't give a shit about you.
Extremely wrong to call superheroes folklore.
Yeah,
like there's nothing mythical, like I don't know.
No,
I
it's
don't know.
not.
Like I don't know. To me, they're in two completely separate lanes. Like,
Yeah.
but my thing is like, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. Like, it wouldn't, and I try to remain rather optimistic. And that, I mean, I hope that kind of shows because I was willing to let, as much as I really don't like Marvel I mean, I really hate Disney for a lot of reasons, but, um, I mean, they do make people happy, so they serve some purpose. I just think that people like, I don't understand, that people are willing to stand up for these films and say like, no, this is good filmmaking, when it's completely the opposite. I mean, it's like studio churned out stuff. Like, there's no actual like director behind these movies. Sure,
And because
maybe
as
they'd have a little personal flair to it, but it's like it's still it's like studio directed films, and all of them are gridlocked into this like one cinematic universe that's like this stupid little package. And there's exceptions. Not all of them are terrible. Um, but what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
as they've said time and time, well, as we've said, or as it's been shown time and time again, like
Mm-hmm.
they like to act like they have these auteurs behind their films, but
Yeah.
they don't. They just pretty much use them for the name, but not
Yeah.
really for like what they can actually bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just
And
just like fuck those.
yeah. And another reason it's sad is because like Star Wars is now going in the direction of it, which is what I kind of expected, when it got bought out by Disney. But I don't
It's
know.
been
It
it
fucking
just
sucks, man. But
they're just gonna keep going that way,
yeah.
and just everybody don't
Well, I was hoping with the coronavirus it would give people a break from it, and they could kind of realize and have time to think over it. But
well,
honestly,
Netflix isn't
only the opposite has happened, where they're like, "Give me, give me,
Netflix
give me,
is
give me, give me, give me, give me more, give me." Like, it's like I don't know. It's weird. You can't predict things like that, I guess.
Netflix isn't off the hook either, because Netflix is just like content. We're just
Yeah,
going to give you as much content as you want,
yeah.
and
No
it's like
matter
you
how
think,
much they get in debt, it's crazy.
yeah,
It's
and
insane.
this, why the heck is? Okay, never mind. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
just on Netflix, and I think that the black and white filter for Mank and the Grinch Who Stole Christmas have combined, and so it's like the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, but black and white. Maybe they're parodying Mank on Netflix. I don't know.
Yeah.
And anyways,
We can cut
yeah.
for an ad break real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, we are back, and Chris, I'll let you introduce this week's feature film.
All right. So this week's feature film, we're talking the 1954 drama directed by Roberto Rossellini, starring Ingrid Bergman and George Sanders, Journey to Italy, which is a film about a couple played by Bergman and Sanders that kind of are starting to have second thoughts about their marriage in Italy. And it's just kind of a couple of days, and just kind of like what entails with their thoughts and various experiences throughout those days. So Fulton, in tradition, what did you think about Journey to Italy?
So I do have a quick question for you before I kind of give my first impression with it. Was it always called Journey to Italy? Because I was
I think it was. I think it's also known as Voyage to Italy.
Okay, that one makes a little bit more sense. I was reading somewhere that apparently they changed it just recently. I don't know why, but I'll be honest, my first impression of this is I think it's all right. I'm not really too over the moon over it, but I don't hate it. I thought the cinematography was very good. The score was very good. The scenery and the placement of the characters was very, very well thought out. And I thought that I really enjoyed kind of seeing them explore Italy. But I don't
Yeah.
want to get too much into spoilers. I just I think I've probably said it on the podcast once before. Sometimes you watch a movie and it doesn't really have too much of an impact on you, but I don't hate it. I thought it was all right, you know.
Well, the reason why I picked it was because it's quite an influential film in as far as like French cinema goes. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody, like Jean-Luc Godard, Claude Chabrol, Francois Truffaut, all those new wave directors. When this came out, which was kind of like right at the start of the French New Wave,
Mm-hmm.
they were all about it. In Cahiers de
Mm-hmm.
Cinema, they wrote a lot about it, and I was just kind of like, I wanted to know like what makes this movie stick with so many people, and I think
Yeah.
it's and I enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it has a lot to do with kind of like how it looks at a marriage and stuff in a more like realistic way than
Yeah.
than rather than just like being kind of more like than it being like like I don't know. It really is a quite a quite a modern and realistic way of looking at the relationship between um, Catherine and Alex, Bergman and Sanders characters,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and
That
yeah.
I can understand. My only thing about the um we'll get into spoilers. We'll get into spoilers later. I don't know if you want to go ahead and talk about spoilers or how you wanted to go about this one.
Uh, yeah, I mean, like, I think we can. I think we can go into. I think we can go into the spoilers.
Hmm.
I think we just kind of
So,
like
with the ending, it kind of ends with Bergman getting carried away from Sanders, and then they have to kind of fight and push and pull to be together again, and then they kind of like um, I guess you could say they, and I could be wrong, they fully realize that they still do want to be together. And did you
yeah.
find that because I was reading some reviews and they said it was kind of I'm trying to find a way to describe it. I thought it was very quick, how they just kind of immediately turned around and then really wanted each other, because they do spend most of the movie kind of away and distant.
I would say
um
that they spent the entire movie up until that point
mhm.
being away and distant, kind of lacking any type of like they're pretty much all like stoic towards each other,
Yeah.
no passion, no tenderness, just kind of like, oh, hey, like let's go do this. Oh, like where were you?
Mhm.
Um and yes, I do agree. I do
Mhm.
agree that I think it is kind of a quick turnaround from that.
Mhm.
Um, and I
Because
and I
I
wish
felt
that
it was a little quick, but
I
because like
wish that
the
there was
begin.
a
Oh
little bit
yeah,
of time.
sorry. Mhm.
I was saying I wish that there was a little more time, and you kind of feel like, oh, they're trapped in the car together during the
Mhm.
religious procession. Maybe that will give them time to they're alone in the car. They're not really going anywhere. They'll be able to talk it out, and then they get out of the car. And I feel like it was kind of a missed opportunity to make it so they're confined to a space together, and then they
Mhm.
can kind of like talk it through, and it would be more gradual rather than just kind of like a quick
Instant.
turnaround. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Shoot. What was I gonna say? Um. Damn. There was something I was gonna say about that. Yeah, I thought it was a little quick. It doesn't really detract too much from it. But um, what I did want to ask you about is the person that made the score. I think his name was Renzo. I didn't exactly see it very well. Renzo Rossellini. Is he related to Robert
Yeah, Roberto. That's Roberto
Roberto?
Rossellini's. That's Roberto Rossellini's brother. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, he did a
Yeah.
really good job. I really liked it. There
Yeah.
was another part that I kind of wanted to talk to you about really quick. Um,
Mhm.
you know the scene where I don't remember the character's name, but when Ingrid and Sanders first get to their uncle's villa, and they're kind of like showing him, or there's I guess the uncle's friend. I'm forgetting his name. But the
Are you
uncle's.
talking about the
Hmm.
yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the uncle's friend is kind of showing them around at all of like the volcanoes and like Pompeii and I'm forgetting the other two volcanoes. I want to say he shows them three. Um, I thought it was a little weird how he would like point and say it and then it would like immediately cut to it. I feel like it could have went a little bit smoother with him with just like a
Mhm.
wide shot of him like pointing at it and then having it in the background or something like that. But I think that's
Yeah.
more of like a nitpicky thing on my end. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought all the acting was really good. I don't really have
Yeah.
any
I think.
complaints on that end.
What did you think about the museum scene?
I th- I think it was interesting because it felt like it was almost shot to be horrifying, but then the score was um it kind of brought a sense of almost wonder and intrigue to me. Um and I thought that line that Ingrid gives when she's talking to Sanders about it, she's like, it's weird how all those men feel um they're not portrayed in such like a bright light, right? they're they seem kind of like, I hope I'm remembering this right. um they seem almost brutal and captured in their time, but they still are. She still sees men like that today, right?
Yeah.
um I thought that was a really good line, and it kind of shows how maybe her views on men aren't the best. Um,
Yeah.
but
She has
yeah.
that sense. She has that sense of like masculine. I don't know. I guess masculine like idealism. Like, oh,
Hmm.
this is the perfect man. And like she kind of uh comments on that. And at the
Hmm.
museum, the guy that's the tour guide, I suppose, is the person showing her around the museum, brings up something similar
Yeah.
with Venus, with the statue of Venus. And he's like, I like this one, and she's like, I don't like. She kind of like pushes him aside, but it's like she kind of has a similar view, but on the opposite end with the man.
Hmm.
With but weird. So obviously it all looks really great too. The museum shots, I love looking at the statues and then like
Hmm.
just kind of walking around. But a weird comparison I felt, and
I
this
have
is
a
this
weird
is
comparison too.
all right.
But I'll let you go first.
Uh, the Muppets 2011.
That was not at all what I was expecting you to say. What scene
Um,
from it's been a while since I've seen it.
I don't know, just her kind of doing touristy things alone just kind of reminded
Hmm.
me of like Amy Adams doing touristy things alone in Los Angeles and the Muppets. Just
um
like I
yeah,
was, I
I
was like,
no,
oh
I get it.
yeah.
Yeah, I see it. My weird comparison is, and I wish I could remember the episode it was, but there's an episode of The Sopranos where Tony goes back to, I think it was uh Napoli or Napoli.
Napoli, yeah, that's right.
Napoli.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
There's
old country.
yeah, where he goes back and it strikes me when she's looking at where I guess it was some army during Pompeii. They kind of dug out like a little cave thing or a little like place to stay. Um and you kind of, it's like almost like a triangle-esque hallway that just goes through this mountain, and they're walking through it. And there's a scene that in The Sopranos, and like I said, I wish I could remember the episode, but Tony's talking to like a business woman about like fairs with his family and stuff like that. Um, and it's so reminiscent of it. And I wonder if they had kind of pulled from this movie as inspiration for that scene. But it's just really funny, like because I couldn't stop
Yeah.
thinking about Tony walking around Napoli and like discovering things about his home country and stuff like that. So I thought it would be like a funny double feature to kind of watch that and then that episode of The Sopranos. But I'll try and
A
find what
nice,
episode it
nice
is.
double
But
feature.
yeah,
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you put it in
the
put it in the
description.
description.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like damn, dude, it's killing me. Um, it's got to be like what season am I on? I'm on 5, I think. Or I don't know. It's not. I'm not gonna bog down the feature film discussion with trying to figure out what episode it is. Um, yeah.
Okay. What about
Mhm.
the so good too? Two good comparisons to Journey to Journey to Italy. Uh,
I will be
but
honest. I thought this was gonna be a type of dudes rock movie.
no, he was. I mean, like he was kind of. I don't know. I mean, like it is an older movie, and
Mhm.
even Italian movies, they're not like as. I still think that they're quite conservative in their
Mhm.
in their depiction of things. I mean, like they
Mhm.
still Bergman and both Bergman and Sanders's characters, sleep in separate beds and stuff in the film. So it's not like the French where they're just like, yeah, whatever. But still, I was surprised that it wasn't more dudes rock. I mean, like,
Yeah. I
does a
mean,
little
I'm
bit
glad that he didn't
cheating.
cheat on his wife, and I'm glad that she didn't cheat on him. Because it probably would have made the ending a little bit tougher to digest, I think, and making it a little bit more believable. But I
Yeah.
mean, you can tell he's always like contemplating it.
Well, yeah, because she's like, I didn't know that you thought of other women.
Yeah.
It's like, you didn't. It's like, I don't think that's like the right thing to say at that moment, dude. But
Yeah.
like,
It's yeah, he's definitely I always kind of felt like he was kind of an ass.
oh no, I think I don't know if you're really supposed to, because I mean, like, okay, this is a moment where I was like, I don't know, like this interaction between the I think it's the caretaker, one of the caretakers, she's talking to Catherine,
Mhm.
Ingrid Bergman's character, and she's like, "Oh, I'll take you to this cool like skeleton graveyard
Yeah.
place," and she was like, "What's the point?"
I thought that was kind
Yeah,
of funny. She's
yeah,
like,
it's
it's
like
so like interesting and amusing.
she's like, "I don't know, that's kind of morbid,"
Yeah.
like. And she's like, I don't know. It's nice because like people take care of the skeletons. They're hundreds of years old, and people will bring stuff to them. And she just kind of has like it, oddly enough, Bergman comes off, or her character comes off with having a more nihilistic attitude about things than the person
Yeah.
that's literally telling her like, take care of a skeleton with me, dude. Like
Yeah.
uh so yeah, but it's like she's kind of like breaking down like just simple acts of humanity that like people like show, and it's
Mhm.
like, oh, it's just kind of like honoring the dead, like it's
Yeah.
just kind of a nice thing. And she's just like is totally against that idea. And I just feel like maybe both of these characters in a way, they kind of lack, they just don't, maybe they just kind of lack purpose in a lot of ways. Like
Yeah.
they don't find fulfillment in much. And
And I think they
similar.
kind of thought that a marriage would give them fulfillment. And then there's even that line at the, or that's just my take. I don't want to speak for you. And then there's that line at the end where they were talking about having kids, and that's also brought up a lot visually through the story or through the film. Um, and I think Sanders wanted to have a child, but Bergman didn't. And then I think they were both, I think he was kind of looking towards that, and they ultimately decided not to. I
Yeah.
could be wrong. That was just my reading of it.
Well, they have a routine. They've been married for 8 years, and then they just go on vacation once, and it kind of breaks down any type of barriers or things that they've set up, whether it be subconsciously or consciously, about this whole relationship. And it kind of just goes from there over the course of like 3 days. Like, I mean, you don't have a good foundation if over the course of 3 days you're like, yeah, let's get a divorce.
It gets completely dismantled. Yeah, I also love that scene. I don't love it. I think it's funny, I should say. There's a lady that has injured her leg, and he tends to spend a little bit more time with her. And there's this scene where he's talking to her, and she's like, "Oh yes, me and my husband have cleared up everything, and he's actually coming back tonight." And then he just has that look on his face.
And he's like, dude.
He's like, damn.
Yeah, that was what was her name? I think that was I can't remember her name now.
It's okay.
Yeah. No. Anyways, yeah, so I think this movie is influential because of just like kind of like how much of a big deal like Italian neorealism was at the time, and like what and like kind of how it kind of like I said, how it kind of evolved the relationship dynamics in cinema. It's still widely regarded as a seminal work, like something that like the British, I think the British Film Institute,
the BFI,
put it 41st on their 2012 Sight and Sound list of the best films ever made.
Wow, okay.
But yeah, it's what have you? I was George Sanders has like that voice that like even though that I've only seen one other film with him in it. I've never seen Rebecca, but I've seen All About Eve like quite a few times, and he just has one of those like
that's
there is there is no Schubert theater.
I forgot that he was in that. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he has like he has that
recognizable voice, man.
Yeah.
It's I really enjoyed watching him. I do kind of want to see more films with him in it.
Yeah. And I gotta watch and then for Bergman stuff, yeah, like I've seen Casablanca, I've seen Notorious, but yeah, like
she was in Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, no, she was in the Notorious B.I.G. biopic.
Okay, cool.
From 2009.
Okay. Yeah, Notorious is one of those. All jokes aside, that is one of them that I actually do want to see. The Alfred Hitchcock, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Alfred Hitchcock directed the Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His last great picture, some might say.
But the next Bergman on my list is the double Bergman film, Autumn Sonata, where it's Bergman directing Bergman, Ingmar directing Ingrid.
Nice. Yeah, I used to always get that confused before I actually knew who was who.
Yeah.
So that's on me. That's on a younger me.
That's right. Well, yeah, that's really all I have to say about this. Yeah, I'd say if you're like, going into, if you're just really into film, you want to learn more about cinema, you're maybe, I don't know, studying it in school, then I think that you probably have to watch this movie. Like, I'm pretty sure that in a class you're gonna be told to watch it, but like, I'd still recommend it.
It's a soft recommendation for me. I'd say check it out. Yeah.
But yeah, Folden, do you want to introduce our next week's
feature
films?
film? So we're doing a double feature. And it's gonna be The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. Quixote. God damn it. Every time. The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, the 2018 Terry Gilliam film. It's notorious for one that he's been trying to work on for forever. It's like a huge passion project of his. And we're also going to be watching the documentary Lost in Mancha. Is that
La Mancha?
Lost in La Mancha.
I don't know if it's lost. I mean, I took Spanish years ago, but I don't know if it's Lost in La Mancha or Lost in La Manja. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been forever for me too.
It's a 2002 documentary about this film because nobody thought it was going to come out. Like that just shows how long this has been in development for.
I think he's been trying to make it ever since the 90s, right? Or even longer.
I want to say like, I don't know, 70s or 80s or something like that.
I know he's been working on it forever.
So this is a documentary about a film that did end up coming out 16 years later with a completely different cast. Like when this documentary when this documentary was made, Adam Driver was like
still in the Navy. He was even younger. Probably, I would. Yeah. 2002. No, he's probably in the Navy then. Well, maybe he's in high school.
Maybe, I don't know, but
I don't know. It's weird.
He was nowhere near acting.
Wasn't Kylo Ren yet. Wasn't everyone's favorite divorced man. So I'm excited. I love Terry Gilliam. Excited to check that out. It's been on my list for a while. I love Adam Driver too. So with that said, I hope everyone is safe and hope everyone's having some happy holiday times. And we will see you guys next week. And also we have a Twitter now. So
follow us at podcast43. It's a picture of Danny Trejo dressed up as Santa from John Frankenheimer's Reindeer Games.
Nice.
It's the profile picture. So yeah,
we got to keep it real.
Yeah,
that's the only way to keep it real these days.
So stay wavy, guys. See you next week.
All right, bye.